The night sky above Earth's frontier base on planet Viridian 6 was dark, full of heavy clouds and flashing lights from faraway explosions. The ground trembled now and then, as if the land itself was scared. War had come to the outpost without warning. Sergeant Jack Rennel moved through the muddy trench, rifle in hand, scanning the shadows. His boots sank in the wet dirt, and the cold wind bit through his uniform. Most of the base had already been lost. He didn't know how many soldiers were still alive or who was in charge. But he knew one thing for sure: something wasn't right about this battle. He reached the ruined command post and found only smoke, sparks, and broken screens. A radio buzzed with static. A body lay slumped over the desk. Commander Breen. Jack's heart sank. No orders were coming now. He was alone. He turned around to leave, and then he heard it, a voice, not in English, not in any language he knew. It was soft, shaking, crying. He followed the sound, through the side hallway, down to the lower cell block, the old holding pens for captured aliens or smugglers. The doors were powered by backup batteries. Only a few lights still worked, flickering weakly like dying stars. The voice grew clearer. It was a girl's voice. When Jack stepped into the room, he froze. There in the last cell sat a young alien girl. Her skin was pale blue. Her silver white hair hung over her face, wet from tears and rainwater dripping through the cracks in the ceiling. Her arms were chained to the wall behind her. She looked up at him. Her eyes were glowing, bright gold. Not with power but fear. Jack raised his weapon out of reflex, but didn't shoot. She didn't move, didn't speak. Just stared at him like she didn't believe he was real. He lowered the rifle slowly. "Who are you?" he asked. She didn't answer. He stepped closer. Her body tensed. She pulled against the chains, but they were too strong. Her thin frame was shaking. He tried again. "I'm not here to hurt you. What's your name?" Still silence. Then in a broken voice she whispered, "Lura." Jack blinked. She'd understood him. She could speak. That meant she was intelligent. "A person. What are you doing here?" he asked. "Are you a prisoner?" She nodded slowly. He noticed marks on her wrists, fresh, red. The chains had cut deep. She'd been here a long time. Jack's mind raced. He had no orders, no backup, no way off the planet. And yet, he couldn't walk away. Something inside him screamed that this girl was important. Before he could speak again, a heavy alarm blared through the walls, deep and sharp. Then came the sound of boots. Dozens, marching. Jack turned to the hallway just as a squad of Earth security troopers entered, their black armor slick with blood and rain. Their leader, Captain Varen, raised a hand. "Step away from the alien soldier," Varen said sharply. Jack didn't move. "Why is she here?" "She's the reason this outpost was attacked," Varen growled. "The rebels want her back, but Command wants her dead. Too dangerous to keep alive." Jack looked at Lura again. She didn't look dangerous. She looked terrified. "She's just a girl," Jack said. "She's not human," Varen snapped. "You've seen what her kind can do. We end this now." Jack stepped between them. Varen narrowed his eyes. "Are you disobeying a direct order?" Jack didn't answer. His heart pounded in his chest. His hands shook. But he didn't move aside. Behind him, Lura whispered something. A soft alien word he couldn't understand, but it sounded like a thank. The troopers raised their rifles. Jack lifted his, too, but not at Lura. At them. Silence fell in the cell block. Nobody fired. Varen stared at him, jaw tight. "You'll die for this, Rennel." Jack stared back. "Then I'll die doing something right." Varen didn't blink. Then he gave a small nod. "All units," he barked. "Stand down. For now." One by one, the troopers lowered their guns. Some shook their heads. Others looked unsure. Jack turned to Lura and walked to the control panel. He ripped off the cover and used a small wire to overload the lock. The cell door clicked open. He stepped inside. Lura flinched but didn't pull away when he reached for her chains. He broke the cuffs with the butt of his rifle. She stared at him. Stunned. "You're free now," he said. Her lips trembled. Then she stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him. Jack didn't move. He just stood there, a soldier in the middle of a war, holding an alien girl who should have been his enemy. Outside, more thunder shook the sky, but inside, something had changed, and there was no turning back. Jack led Lura out of the cell block, his weapon still raised, watching the troopers closely. No one followed, but he didn't trust it. He knew Varen wouldn't forget this. The execution order hadn't been canceled, only delayed. The base was falling apart. Walls were cracked. Lights flickered. Fires burned in the distance. The enemy, whoever they were, was still attacking. Explosions echoed through the sky. But Jack had one mission now: get the alien girl out. They moved quickly through the lower halls, taking narrow paths and broken stairwells. Jack stayed alert, checking every corner. Lura walked behind him, silent and barefoot. Her steps were light, but he could tell she was in pain. She was weak, tired, and cold. He stopped beside a storage room and opened the door. Inside were old supplies, blankets, food packs, and emergency gear. He found a thick coat and wrapped it around her shoulders. She looked up at him. Her eyes were still glowing faintly in the dark. "You need to stay warm," Jack said quietly. She nodded and pulled the coat tighter. He handed her a water pouch. She drank fast, like she hadn't had water in days. Jack leaned against the wall, thinking the base wasn't safe. And soon, Varen would send more men. He needed a way out. There was only one place he could go, the old landing zone outside the western fence. Most of the ships had been destroyed, but he'd seen a scout shuttle there 3 days ago. If it still worked, they had a chance. "We need to leave the base," he told her. Lura looked confused. He pointed toward the west. "Ship. Fly. Escape." She understood. Her eyes widened. She looked scared, but hopeful. Jack nodded. "Come on." They stepped back into the hallway, but they weren't alone anymore. 2 soldiers were standing near the door, rifles ready. Jack grabbed Lura and pushed her behind him. "Stay down," the first soldier aimed. "Jack, don't do this." "Hand her over." Jack's voice was sharp. "She's not a threat." "She's an alien. Orders are orders." Jack didn't move. The soldier hesitated. Then someone else entered from behind. Private Solon, younger than Jack, but loyal. He stepped in front of the other 2 and held up his hands. "Let them go," Solon said. The others looked at him in disbelief. "She saved me," Solon said suddenly, looking at Jack. "During the last attack. I didn't tell anyone. She pulled me from the wreckage. She could have let me die, but she didn't." Jack was stunned. He looked at Lura. She didn't deny it. The soldiers lowered their guns slowly. Jack nodded to Solon. "Thank you." Solon stepped aside. "Hurry, before command changes its mind." Jack and Lura moved fast. They passed broken barricades, ran through damaged hallways, and finally reached the west gate. A hole had been blasted in the wall earlier in the war. Beyond it was open ground, muddy, soaked with rain, and full of danger. The air smelled of smoke and burning fuel. The sky above was flashing with distant gunfire. The scout shuttle was still there. It was tilted, covered in ash, but it looked whole. Jack climbed into the pilot's seat while Lura crouched beside him, watching everything closely. Her eyes scanned the controls. She didn't speak, but her hand pointed to a switch near the console. Jack raised an eyebrow. "You know ships?" She nodded quickly. He let her help. She flicked a few switches, and the system started to light up. The engine hummed. It wasn't stable, but it was alive. Just then, a warning alarm screamed from the base behind them. "Troops. We're coming." Jack looked at Lura. She looked at him. They didn't speak. He grabbed the controls. "Hold on." Gunshots rang out. Red beams flew past the cockpit. The ship shook as it rose off the ground. The engines coughed smoke, but it lifted higher past the fence, past the ruins, into the stormy sky. Bullets hit the side, but none broke. Through, Lura closed her eyes and held tight. The shuttle broke through the clouds, and the world below vanished. For the first time in days, there was silence. Jack glanced at her. "You okay?" She opened her eyes slowly and nodded. They were not safe yet. But they had escaped, and now they had a chance. He didn't know where they were going. He didn't know who she truly was, but one thing was clear: she wasn't just a random prisoner. Someone wanted her dead for a reason, and Jack was going to find out why. The shuttle flew for hours, far away from the burning outpost. Jack kept one hand on the controls and the other close to his rifle. He didn't trust the quiet. The war had made him used to noise guns, orders, screams. Silence now felt dangerous. Lura sat beside him, her glowing eyes watching the stars through the window. She still didn't speak much. Her face was calm, but her hands were shaking. She kept pulling the coat tighter around her. Jack noticed how skinny she was, like she hadn't eaten properly in weeks. He pulled out an old food pack and handed it to her. She looked at it, unsure. "It's safe," he said softly. She opened it slowly and took a small bite, then another. She ate it all without saying a word. Jack looked away. He didn't want her to feel watched. But something inside him kept asking, who was she really? Why did Earth Command want her dead? The shuttle's fuel gauge blinked red. He sighed. "We can't go much farther." A small beacon on the screen lit up an old mining colony, abandoned long ago during the first alien uprising. It was off the grid, quiet, perfect for hiding. "We'll land there," Jack said. Lura nodded like she understood. The shuttle landed on a flat stone ridge near a broken mining tower. Rusted machines and old metal huts surrounded them. Dust clouds blew across the ground, and everything was silent. Jack grabbed a flashlight and helped Lura down. Her steps were weak, but steady. Together, they walked into the nearest building, a small shelter still standing strong. Inside was dusty but dry. He checked the power and was surprised when a few lights came on. "Good enough for now," he muttered. Lura sat down slowly on an old bench, her back straight, her hands folded in her lap. Jack watched her for a moment, then finally said, "Lura, can you tell me why they wanted to kill you?" She looked at him, her lips trembled, then moved. "They afraid of me," she said, slowly. Jack leaned forward. "Why? I not soldier," she whispered. "I seed," he frowned. "Seed?" She touched her chest. "Born from sacred blood, one of few. My people keep peace. I carry memory of all before me." Jack's eyes widened. "You're like a living library?" he asked. She nodded. "My blood hold truth, history, secrets." He stood up, pacing. That explained why Earth Command wanted her gone. If she carried secrets from her people's past, maybe even knowledge of Earth's crimes, then she was a threat. A truth that couldn't be allowed to live. He turned back to her. "Did you know they were going to kill you?" She nodded. "They kill others like me. Quiet, no trial." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. How many others? 7. Jack clenched his fists. Why didn't anyone speak up? "Fear," she said. "Even humans afraid of truth." He sat beside her, silent for a long moment. Then he sighed. "Not me. I'm not afraid." She looked at him carefully. Then she said, in soft, broken English, "Why? Help me." Jack didn't answer right away. He looked at the stars outside. "I was a soldier too long," he said finally. "Followed orders, watched people die. But when I saw you, something told me this was different, that I had to choose. So I chose." Lura smiled. Just a little. It was the first time he saw her smile. He smiled back, But that quiet moment ended. When a deep hum filled the air, Jack grabbed his rifle and ran outside. Over the hills, blinking lights moved across the sky. A ship. Military. He swore under his breath. They found us. Lura appeared beside him. She didn't look surprised. Only calm. They always find truth, she whispered. But truth does not run. Jack shook his head. We can't fight them alone. She turned to him. Not alone. You saved me. Now I save you. Her hands touched the ground. The dust around them began to glow. Jack stepped back in shock. What are you? The old machines around the base started to light up. One by one, ancient mining droids stood, their eyes glowing bright blue. Jack stared. Lura stood in the center of it all, her body glowing with soft light, her voice like a song made of wind and stars. And the machines obeyed her. The machines rose slowly, one after another, like sleeping giants waking from a long dream. Their metal arms clicked. Their eyes flashed blue. Old mining bots, built for digging and lifting, now stood ready for something else. Jack stared, stunned. You control them? Lura shook her head. Not control. I call. They listen. Jack lowered his rifle. His heart was still racing. Why would they listen to you? They are old, she said softly, built by those who came before your kind. My blood speaks to them. The military ship above was getting closer. Its lights cut through the dark sky. A low hum grew louder. Engines, weapons coming fast. Jack looked up. We don't have much time. Lura turned to the machines and spoke in her language, gentle, flowing words. The bots responded. Some moved toward the cliffside. Others took position around the shelter. Jack could barely believe it. A dozen robots, long dead, now moving to protect them. But still, he knew the danger. These machines weren't made for war. And Earth's gunship carried real firepower. Lura, he said, when they land they'll send troops, drones, maybe bombs. These bots won't last long. She turned to him with calm eyes. Then we show them truth. Jack shook his head. They don't want the truth. They want silence. Lura stepped closer. Then we speak louder. Suddenly, the ground shook. A sharp sound tore through the air. The ship had landed. Jack grabbed his rifle. We fight. But we do it smart. We delay them. We escape again. Lura nodded. Outside, heavy doors opened from the ship. Armed soldiers stepped out, black armor, glowing visors, rifles aimed forward. Jack saw their captain first. It was Varen. He had come personally. His voice echoed through a loudspeaker. Jack Rennel, you are charged with treason. Step forward. Surrender the alien. Jack didn't answer. He turned to Lura. Stay inside. If I fall, run. But she grabbed his hand. Her fingers were small, cold. No, run. Fight together. The machines moved forward. Their steps were heavy. Dust swirled. Jack stepped out of the building, rifle ready. Varen, you don't need to do this. She's not a threat. Varen raised a hand. The soldiers aimed. She's a weapon, Varen shouted. That's what they made her. You just don't see it. No, Jack said firmly. She's a voice. And you're afraid of what she might say. Varen didn't argue. He just gave the signal. The shooting started. Energy blasts lit the night. The machines moved fast, blocking some shots with their bodies. One bot exploded, but another took its place. They weren't fighters, but they were brave. Jack fired back, hitting two soldiers. Lura stepped forward, her hands glowing again. She spoke, louder this time, in her native tongue. Her voice echoed across the rocks. The ground lit up beneath her feet. The machines moved faster, sharper, almost like soldiers now. Jack realized that she wasn't controlling them like a tool. She was giving them purpose. The bots pushed forward. The soldiers fell back, but then Varen pulled out a new weapon, a plasma cannon, meant to destroy ships. He aimed it straight at Lura. Jack saw it too late. No! He shouted. The blast fired, but one of the machines jumped in front of her, taking the hit. It shattered into burning metal. Lura fell to the ground, dazed but alive. Jack ran to her, firing at Varen. The captain ducked behind cover. "We can't stay," Jack said. "We'll be overrun." Lura struggled to sit up. "I can open path, but need time." Jack turned to the remaining machines. "Hold them back." He lifted her in his arms and ran toward the old tunnel behind the shelter. It led deeper underground, an old escape route miners used. The bots held the line, one after another, shielding the retreat. As Jack entered the tunnel, he looked back. One final bot stood tall, arms wide, blocking the path. Then the blast came, and everything behind them went white. Down in the tunnel, the silence returned. Jack's breathing was heavy. Lura's body was weak in his arms. "You okay?" he asked. She opened her eyes slowly. "Still here." He gave a tired smile. "You're tougher than you look." Lura leaned her head against his shoulder. "I remember now," she whispered. "What they fear. Why they want me gone." Jack looked at her. "What is it?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "I carry the map, not to weapons. To peace." The tunnel was dark, damp, and quiet. Jack held a glow stick in one hand and guided Lura with the other. Her steps were weak, but she kept moving. The air smelled like old metal and stone. They didn't speak for a while. Finally Jack asked, "What did you mean? You carry the map to peace?" Lura's voice was soft. "My people, long ago, knew a way to end war. A way to share truth, not by words, not by weapons." Jack looked at her. "Then how?" She placed a hand on her chest. "Inside. ME is memory, all of it, from the first colony, the first war, even Earth's first lies." Jack stopped walking. "Wait, lies?" She nodded. "Your leaders made peace, then broke it. My kind forgave them, then they came again. Took land, took people, burned our sacred trees. But they told your people we started it." Jack felt cold all over. "So they erased it. They killed my sisters," Lura whispered. "Each one like me, a seed of memory, one by one, to hide the truth. Only I remain." Jack took a deep breath. "If that's true, then this war isn't just wrong. It's built on a lie." She nodded slowly. They walked deeper into the tunnel. The walls became smoother, shaped by alien tools. Strange symbols glowed faintly. The air grew warmer. "This place," Jack whispered. "What is it?" "A shrine," Lura said. "One of the last." As they entered a wide chamber, the walls lit up. Floating shapes appeared, images of stars, planets, ships. Then came scenes of her people, peaceful, gathering, planting, building. Then came fire. Explosions. Humans. Stepped back as he saw Earth soldiers in the holograms. Burning villages, capturing alien children. "No," he muttered. "This isn't what they told us." He watched as another scene showed leaders shaking hands, then stabbing the alien ambassador behind his back. Jack clenched his fists. "They covered it all up, all of it." Lura touched a pillar. "This is the truth. I carry it inside, but they will destroy it. Unless," she looked at him, "unless I give it to someone who can protect it." Jack looked confused. "Me?" She nodded. "Your kind will not listen to me, but maybe they will listen to you." Jack stepped forward. "What do I have to do?" Lura reached into her coat and pulled out a small crystal. It glowed with soft blue light. "Touch it. If you accept it, my memories will become part of you." He hesitated. "Will it hurt?" "A little," she said, "but less than war." Jack smiled, "Just a little." "Fair enough." He placed his hand on the crystal. Suddenly, light rushed into his body. His mind filled with images, thousands of years of history, voices, pain, love, loss. He saw her childhood, her sisters, the betrayal, the hiding, the death. Tears ran down. His face then it stopped. He dropped to one knee, gasping. Lura touched his shoulder. "It is done." Jack looked up. "I remember everything." "Then you carry the truth now," she said. He stood. "We need to share this. The world has to know." But just then, the tunnel shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Boots echoed. Varen's voice came through a speaker. "You think you can hide forever? I'm not here to capture. I'm here to erase. The whole cave, the girl, you, all of it." Jack pulled Lura behind him. "He's coming." Lura whispered, "Then it is your turn to protect the truth." He looked at her. Heart-pounding. He had a choice: run and hide, or stand and fight with the full weight of the past behind him. Jack took a breath, raised his rifle, and stepped toward the tunnel entrance. The tunnel echoed with footsteps. Dozens of boots. Armored soldiers were coming fast. Jack stood in the doorway of the shrine, rifle in hand, eyes focused. Behind him, Lura stood by the glowing walls, her body weak but steady. He had the truth now. It burned in his mind: images, memories, knowledge that could shake worlds. He wasn't just a soldier anymore. He was the last voice of everything Earth had tried to bury. Varen's voice came again, louder. "Jack Rennel, this is your last warning. Step away from the alien and drop your weapon." Jack didn't move. "She's not the threat," he said. "You are. All of you, following blind orders. You're protecting a weapon. I'm protecting the truth." A pause. Then came the sound of weapons charging. Lura stepped forward. Her voice was soft, but strong. "They will not stop, Jack, unless you show them." Jack turned to her. "Show them what?" You carry the memories now. Let them see." Jack hesitated. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out the crystal. It still glowed, now pulsing with his heartbeat. He stepped into the hallway. Soldiers lined the tunnel, weapons pointed at him. Varen stood at the front, face hard. "I'm not fighting you," Jack said loudly, "but I won't let you kill her. Not without knowing what she really is." Varen laughed coldly. "I know what she is." "No," Jack said, voice firm. "You know what they told you." Then, without waiting, he raised the crystal and crushed it against his chest. A blast of light burst out, blue, gold, and white. The soldiers shouted, shielding their eyes. And then they saw. Floating in the air were images, just like in the shrine memories, but now they came from Jack himself. The soldiers watched as peaceful cities burned, as treaties were broken, as Earth leaders lied to their people that they saw the truth. Some dropped their weapons. Others looked at each other, confused, shocked. Varen stepped back, his hands shaking. "No, this isn't real." "It is," Jack said. "You've been killing innocents to hide this. Lura isn't the enemy. She's the proof." Varen raised his gun. Jack didn't move. But before Varen could fire, another soldier stepped forward. It was Private Solon. He aimed at Varen. "Enough, sir." "Stand down, soldier," Varen shouted. "No," Solon said. "We followed orders. We believed lies. Not anymore." Other soldiers began lowering their rifles, one by one. Few still looked unsure. But the light from the crystal kept glowing, kept showing the truth. Varen looked around, wild with rage. "You're all traitors." He raised his weapon again, but Jack was faster. One shot. Varen fell. Silence filled the tunnel. Lura stepped beside Jack. Her eyes shimmered, not with fear now, but peace. Solon stepped forward. "What now?" Jack looked around. "Now we send the truth back. To Earth, to everyone. The war ends here." Lura nodded. "We plant the truth like a seed, let it grow." Together, they walked out of the cave. The soldiers followed no longer enemies, but protectors. For the first time in years, the stars above felt calm. The truth had survived, and with it, hope.